MES 015, Operational Dimensions of Education. Assignment 01. Explain the meaning and goals of education for all, EFA. Discuss the role of Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, SSA, in achieving the goals of EFA. ANS.A Education for All, EFA Meaning and Goals. Education for All, EFA, is a global movement that emerged in the 1990s, driven by the need to provide quality education to all individuals, regardless of their socio-economic backgrounds, gender, ethnicity, or other characteristics. The movement was initiated to address the glaring disparities in educational access and quality that existed in many parts of the world. The key goal of EFA is to ensure that every person, irrespective of their circumstances, has the opportunity to receive a meaningful and relevant education that equips them with essential life skills and empowers them to participate effectively in society. The goals of EFA were outlined in the Dakar Framework for Action, adopted in 2000 at the World Education Forum held in Dakar, Senegal. The framework established 6 broad goals to be achieved by the year 2015. Expanding early childhood care and education, ECI ensuring access to quality pre-primary education for all young children, recognizing the importance of early childhood development in laying the foundation for lifelong learning. Universal primary education, UPE ensuring that all children, regardless of gender or other factors, complete a full cycle of primary education with satisfactory learning outcomes. Promoting learning and life skills for young people and adults, providing learning opportunities and life skills training for adolescents and adults to enable them to lead productive and fulfilling lives. Increasing adult literacy rates, addressing the issue of illiteracy among adults, especially women, by increasing literacy rates and improving the quality of literacy programs. Achieving gender parity and equality, eliminating gender disparities in education by ensuring equal access and opportunities for boys and girls at all levels of education. Improving the quality of education, enhancing the quality and relevance of education to ensure that learners acquire essential knowledge, skills, and competencies. Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, SSA, and its role in achieving EFA goals. Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, SSA, is a flagship program of the Government of India aimed at providing universal access to quality education for all children in the age group of 6 to 14 years. Launched in 2001, SSA aligns closely with the goals of education for all and has played a significant role in advancing these objectives in India. 1. Universal Primary Education, UPE-SSA focuses on ensuring that every child of the target age group is enrolled in and completes primary education. It includes provisions for free and compulsory education, special training for out-of-school children, and the establishment of alternative schooling centers to cater to marginalized communities. 2. Expanding early childhood care and education, ECI. While SSA primarily focuses on primary education, it recognizes the importance of early childhood education. Efforts have been made to integrate pre-primary education within the primary school system. 3. Promoting learning and life skills, SSA aims to provide a holistic education by emphasizing not only academic learning but also life skills, vocational education, and sports. This aligns with the goal of equipping young people with skills for personal and social development. 4. Achieving gender parity and equality, SSA has been instrumental in increasing the enrollment of girls and addressing gender disparities in education. Special initiatives, such as providing separate toilets for girls, have contributed to creating a more inclusive and safe learning environment. 5. Improving quality of education, SSA emphasizes the training of teachers, development of quality learning materials, and the introduction of innovative teaching methods to enhance the overall quality of education. 6. Increasing adult literacy rates, while SSA primarily focuses on primary education, its efforts indirectly contribute to adult literacy through community engagement and awareness programs. In conclusion, Education for All, EFA, is a global movement aimed at providing equitable access to quality education for all individuals. Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, SSA, in India exemplifies the principles of EFA by focusing on universal primary education, promoting gender equality, enhancing learning outcomes, and addressing various dimensions of education. SSA's comprehensive approach has contributed significantly to advancing the goals of EFA within the Indian context, striving to ensure that no child is left behind and that education becomes a tool for empowerment and social progress. Describe how resources are managed at central, state and community levels. ANS.B Resource management is a critical aspect of governance that ensures the sustainable utilization and equitable distribution of natural, economic, and social resources. In many countries, resource management is divided across central, state, and community levels to address different scales of governance and local needs. Here's how resource management functions at each level. Central level. At the central or national level, resource management involves overarching policies, frameworks, and regulations that guide the utilization and conservation of resources across the entire country. This level of management is responsible for formulating laws and regulations related to key sectors such as energy, environment, water, and minerals. The central government often establishes institutions, agencies, and ministries to oversee resource management and enforce regulations. It coordinates interstate resource disputes, sets national targets for resource utilization and conservation, and negotiates international agreements related to transboundary resources. For instance, in the context of environmental resource management, the central government might establish emission standards, national parks, and protected areas. In economic resource management, it can regulate the extraction and trade of minerals and establish taxation policies to ensure equitable resource revenue distribution. State level. Resource management at the state level focuses on implementing national policies and tailoring them to meet local needs. States have the authority to manage resources within their borders, taking into consideration their unique environmental, economic, and social characteristics. This level of governance is responsible for granting permits, licenses, and concessions for activities like mining, agriculture, and infrastructure development. States also play a vital role in disaster management, as they are often more attuned to regional vulnerabilities and needs. They develop disaster preparedness and response plans, allocate resources for relief and recovery, and coordinate with the central government for assistance when needed. Community level. Community-level resource management involves local communities, indigenous groups, and other stakeholders who directly depend on and interact with natural resources. These stakeholders possess valuable traditional knowledge about resource use and conservation. Community-level management promotes decentralized decision-making, participatory processes, and ownership of resources. Local communities are often best positioned to manage resources sustainably because they have an inherent interest in the long-term viability of these resources. This can involve practices like community-based forestry, water management, and fisheries management, where local people are engaged in decision-making, enforcement of rules, and sustainable practices. In some cases, collaborative resource management between the state and local communities can lead to successful outcomes. Co-management strategies involve shared responsibility and decision-making, allowing local communities to have a say in how resources are used and managed, while the state provides support, technical expertise, and regulatory oversight. In conclusion, resource management operates at multiple levels: central, state, and community, each with distinct roles and responsibilities. The central level sets overarching policies and regulations, the state level adapts these to local contexts, and the community level engages in on-the-ground management based on local knowledge and needs. Effective resource management requires collaboration and communication between these levels to ensure sustainable utilization, conservation, and equitable distribution of resources for present and future generations. Identify a topic of your choice at the secondary level. Prepare 10 frames of programmed learning materials, POM, following linear style. Describe the steps you would follow while preparing these frames. ANS.C topic, Introduction to Climate Change and its Impacts. Programmed Learning Materials, POM. Frame 1, Introduction. Provide a brief overview of the topic. Welcome to the Introduction to Climate Change and its Impacts module. Explain the importance of understanding climate change in today's world. Define climate change and mention its main causes. Frame 2, Greenhouse Effect. Define the greenhouse effect and its role in regulating Earth's temperature. Explain how human activities, such as burning fossil fuels, intensify the greenhouse effect. Use diagrams and visuals to illustrate the greenhouse effect. Frame 3, Evidence of Climate Change. Present various lines of evidence supporting climate change, such as temperature records, shrinking ice sheets, and sea level rise. Discuss the role of scientific research in gathering and analyzing these pieces of evidence. Highlight the global nature of climate change impacts. Frame 4, Impact on Weather Patterns. Describe how climate change affects weather patterns, leading to more frequent and intense extreme weather events like hurricanes, droughts, and heat waves. Provide real-life examples of regions impacted by these weather changes. Frame 5, Biodiversity and Ecosystems. Explain how climate change disrupts ecosystems and threatens biodiversity. Discuss the concept of habitat loss and its consequences. Describe specific examples of species affected by changing temperatures. Frame 6, Rising Sea Levels. Detail the causes of rising sea levels, including melting glaciers and thermal expansion of seawater. Discuss the potential consequences for coastal communities, such as flooding and displacement of populations. Introduce adaptation strategies to cope with rising sea levels. Frame 7, Human Health Implications. Explore the health risks posed by climate change, such as heat-related illnesses, spread of diseases, and air quality issues. Discuss vulnerable populations and regions most at risk. Highlight the need for public health measures and policies to address these challenges. Frame 8, Mitigation Strategies. Present various mitigation strategies to combat climate change, such as transitioning to renewable energy sources, promoting energy efficiency, and reforestation. Discuss the role of international agreements like the Paris Agreement in addressing climate change. Frame 9, Adaptation and Resilience. Explain the importance of adapting to changing climate conditions. Introduce adaptive strategies at the individual, community, and national levels. Showcase successful examples of communities implementing resilience measures. Frame 10, Taking Action. Encourage learners to take action in their daily lives to address climate change, such as reducing carbon footprint, advocating for sustainable policies, and raising awareness. Provide resources for further learning, including books, websites, and organizations dedicated to climate change education. Steps for preparing these frames. Topic selection. Choose a relevant and engaging topic suitable for the secondary level, considering its importance and potential impact on students. Learning objectives. Define clear learning objectives for each frame, outlining what students should know or be able to do after studying each frame. Content research. Gather accurate and up-to-date information from reputable sources such as scientific journals, educational websites, and reports on climate change. Content structuring. Organize the content logically, breaking it down into bite-sized pieces for each frame. Ensure a coherent flow of information. Visual aids. Incorporate diagrams, images, and infographics where appropriate to enhance understanding and engagement. Interactive elements. Include interactive elements like questions, scenarios, or case studies to encourage active learning and critical thinking. Language and style. Use clear and concise language suitable for the target age group. Avoid jargon and complex terms without proper explanation. Assessment. Design formative assessments, quizzes, or reflection questions for students to gauge their understanding of each frame. Adaptation. Tailor the materials to suit different learning styles and abilities. Consider diverse perspectives and make the content relatable to students' lives. Feedback and review. Pilot the POM with a small group of students or educators to gather feedback. Revise and refine the frames based on the feedback received. Resource compilation. Provide additional resources for students who want to explore the topic further, including books, documentaries, and online platforms. Finalization. Ensure the POM frames are coherent, error-free, and aligned with the learning objectives. Consider the overall flow and progression of information. By following these steps, educators can create a comprehensive set of programmed learning materials that effectively introduce secondary level students to the topic of climate change and its impacts.